taking note of what you're doing, when you're doing it, and why. First of all, it's very unlikely that you're going to be the only human that will be managing this one account for the rest of existence. Whether you're managing this on behalf of somebody else's business or you're running this on your own business, but maybe you'll have additional people working with you in the future. You want to be keeping a record of screenshots of your ads and any key stats and the dates that changes are being made and why. And all of that is going to make it really easy for anyone else to jump in and understand exactly what's happening and why it's happening. Not to mention that it will make it a lot easier for you to measure the success of your efforts. The second reason is because you want to be able to learn from your mistakes for future campaigns for this and any future clients that you might have. Some Facebook ad specialists might be looking at 5 or more ad accounts with dozens of campaigns and hundreds of ads within these at any one time. And with that amount of data floating around in your head, it can be really easy to forget what you've already done and what you've already tried and what really worked for you and what didn't. So make sure to note down anything and everything. And lastly, you want to be able to demonstrate your awesomeness to your future clients or employers, or maybe you'll be creating any sort of organic educational content around your strategy for your own business. But of course, it's always best for you to just check with the owner of the account that you're currently working within and make sure that you block out any sensitive information in your screenshots. But it can be really good for you to get into the habit of taking some screenshots of your wins to present to future clients or businesses to demonstrate your knowledge and expertise whenever possible. Finally, it's also important for us to talk about the fact that Facebook Ads Manager is not entirely accurate when it comes to their reporting of especially leads, but also when it comes to sales and purchases. I once had a client who was showing $60,000 in sales inside of Ads Manager, and their Shopify store was actually showing $30,000. So it was essentially reporting to be twice as successful inside of Ads Manager as it was on the actual website. And that's an extreme case, and it was due to a pixel glitch. So that is not common, but usually it's still off by about 30% or lower. It's definitely under 30% for most cases, but that can still be a lot for a lot of clients. So while the Facebook Ads Manager dashboard is really great and it's good to have an overview of what's going on, when you are actually reporting the numbers of leads that you're getting, just make sure that you're doing that from your CRM or your email marketing dashboard to report the true numbers for your clients. So I'm going to jump into my email marketing platform where I also build out my landing pages to demonstrate this. But don't worry if everything looks a bit weird because you're not used to this particular layout. You might be using a totally different tool, but the principles will be largely the same. So it's more about what we actually want to be doing on the back end in order to keep track of everything. So don't worry if you're not familiar with using the tool I'm going to be using, which is GetResponse. So I'm just jumping into my dashboard here, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a dummy landing page. So we saw this with Amy Porterfield earlier, where she was using essentially a copy of one really great landing page with slightly different URLs so that she can probably tag people on her back end to understand where they've come from, so that if they do end up purchasing from her or taking any other actions in the future, all of that data can be stored inside of her database. And in the future or at the end of the campaign, she can really, really accurately track back to which were her best performing strategies as a result of this. So I'm just going to use, well, it doesn't really matter what the actual strategy here is. Let's just say this one, which is selling some sort of a lead magnet, and it's just going to be my test campaign. So obviously I would go through and make sure that if people were to come to this page, it all looks branded and that they can accurately sign up for my email list, and my thank you page looks good. And within GetResponse, I'm also able to actually set up split tests, so I can have various versions of this page to test out different things, which is awesome. But at this stage, all that we're really interested in is what happens next. How do we sort of track where this person's coming from? So I'm just going to go ahead and set that up to make sure that this page is live so that I can do that. And in terms of how you want to actually set this up in terms of your URL, that's totally up to you. As long as this kind of short code that you use inside of the slug is reported somewhere in a spreadsheet or somewhere where you say, all right, anything with this URL that has the keyword of elephant at the end, obviously you want to make sure that it's something relevant to your audience. Elephants could be, so I'm just going to use that as an example, but basically anything that has this URL is being tracked from this particular ad or this particular strategy. So anyone coming from this page that's going to have this tag on them will know exactly what happened before they actually came to this page. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and publish that. Obviously, I will be deleting it because this is not relevant to what I do. But inside of GetResponse, I can then go into my automation tab, and I know every platform has a different way of doing this. So inside of GetResponse, they're called workflows, but every email marketing provider will have a version of this where you can essentially say somebody that's come from this particular page, tag them with this particular tag. So all we're going to be doing is saying as soon as somebody subscribes, now I did choose a particular list when I was setting up the landing page, but it doesn't matter too much because really the part that we're interested in is making sure that it says with this particular subscription method, and I'm going to say a specific landing page, and I'm going to be using this test campaign page over here because that's the landing page I've just created. So as soon as somebody subscribes to my email list using this particular page, which I know is going to be using a particular tag, which I've assigned to be elephant, then I can say, all right, once they've done that, select a tag, and I'm just going to create it here. And as soon as somebody opts in, just put the tag elephant on the back end so that I know when I'm doing my reporting at the end of the month, if I see that 100 people have come from this landing page, I know it's performing for me better than other pages. Now, of course, you're going to see this stuff inside of your Facebook Ads Manager as well, but I really like having this data consistent inside of my email marketing as well as Facebook and Google Analytics. If you can incorporate Google Analytics, then amazing. But this way, even if like 10 years from now, you'll still know that this person came from that particular ad because of this tag. And the other reason I like this as a demonstration for you guys is so that you know that it really doesn't have to be done through these really sophisticated reporting tools, especially if you're not working for a digital marketing agency. It can get really expensive to be using these really sophisticated tools. So you can make it simple by doing a little bit of the kind of legwork up front by setting all this up. But then once it's set up, it all sort of works on autopilot, and it will make your reporting and recording a lot more effective as a result.